Hello everyone, my name is Gwendolyn Fiona Gibot and my matrix number is BB23161052. And for my part, I will presenting part 1 of our group analysis. I will explain the differences and similarity between customer satisfaction scores and customer retention rates using relative frequency and cumulative relative frequency chart. Let's begin with the relative frequency histogram. For customer satisfaction, most businesses fall within the 85 to 89% range, which represent about 33% of the total. The second highest group is the 90 to 94% range at around 27%. Very few businesses go below 75%, which indicates strong performance in customer satisfaction overall. In contrast, for customer retention, the distribution is more spread out. The most common range is between 75 and 79%, representing 26.7%, followed by 70 to 74% with 23.3%. Interestingly, only 13% of companies have a retention rate of 85% or above. This shows that although customers are mostly satisfied, retention does not always follow. Satisfaction scores are more concentrated in higher range, while retention is more varied and often lower. Next, let's look at the cumulative relative frequency chart or OGIF. The customer retention curves rises more rapidly in the lower ranges, especially up to the 74% marks. This indicates that many businesses are clustered at lower to mid-level retention rates. Meanwhile, the customer satisfaction curve rises more slowly at first, but then increases sharply after the 80% mark. This means that most businesses reach higher level of satisfaction, but fewer achieve equally high retention. Businesses appear to satisfy customers successfully, but retain them is a bigger challenge. In conclusion, although satisfaction levels are high, retention is not guaranteed. This gap suggests that companies should not only focus on providing a good experience, but also invest in strategies to build long-term customer relationships, such as loyalty programs and follow-up service. Thank you.
My name is Mariam binti Supriyadi, matrix number BB23110329. I will present part 2, which is calculate and compare measure of central location between the two key metrics. I will explain the calculation process and analysis for both customer satisfaction score and customer retention rate, including the formula we use. First, for the customer satisfaction score, we start by calculating the mean. First, we add all the 30 data points together, which give us a total of 2,527. And then, we divide this total by the number of data points, which is 30. The result in a mean score of 84.23%. Next, the median, middle value. Since we have number of data 30, we took the 15 and 16 value, which are both 18.5 and calculate the average. So, the median is 85%. Lastly, the mode, most frequent value. From the data, the most frequent score are 85 and 88, which means we have two modes. Then, for the customer retention rate, we calculate the mean. The sum of the data point is 2,222. Divide by 30, the mean retention rate is 74.07%. For the median, we again took the middle two value, the 15 and 16, which are both 74, result in a median of 74%. And the mode, the most frequently occurring rates are 68 and 80, meaning we also have two modes here. Comparison. For mean, the mean customer satisfaction score is 84.23%, while the mean customer retention rate is 74.07%. This indicates the customers are generally more satisfied then they are loyal. For median, the median satisfaction score is 85% compared of the retention rate median of 74%. The higher median confirm that satisfaction score are consistently higher across most companies' mode. Next, mode. The mode for satisfaction score are 85 and 88%, where for retention rate they are 66 and 80%. This suggests that satisfaction levels are more frequently clustered at the higher end, while retention show more variation. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Suhaila. Matrix number BB23110634, and I will be presenting part 3 of our assignment. Let's start with customer satisfaction score. Step 1 is to sort the data in ascending order. There are 30 values total, so range from 70 until 93. Next step is calculate the percentile position using the formula in bracket n plus 1 times p over 100, where n is 30. So we will get that Q1 is 7.75, Q2 the median is 15.5, and the Q3 is 23.35. Next, we calculate the actual percentile value for the customer satisfaction scores. For Q1 is between 7 and 8 observation, which are 79 and 80. So 79 plus 0.75 times 1 equal to 79.25, and we round that to 80.0. For the Q2, the median fall between two values that are both 85. So the median is 85.0. For the Q3, it's between 23rd and 24th observations, which is 89 and 90. So we get 89.35, which we round to 88.75. Next step is to calculate the interquartile range. For the interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1 equal to 88.35 minus 80.0, which gives us of IQR 8.75. Next, we calculate for the lower limit and upper limit to check for the outliers. For the lower limit is Q1 minus 1.5 times IQR equal to 66.88. For the upper limit is Q3 plus 1.5 times IQR equal to 101.88. So all the satisfaction score fall between 70 and 93. So basically there are no outliers. Now let's move to the customer retention rates. Let's calculate the observed value for the real percentiles. Q1 is between the two 68s. For the customer retention rates, Q1 between 7 and 8 observation, which is both 68. So Q1 equal to 68 plus 0.75, and we will get the answer is 68.05. For the Q2 is between 15 and 16 observation, which is both 74. So the Q2 is 74 divided 2, and the answer is 74.0. For the Q3 is between 23rd and 24th observation, which is 79 and 80 value. So the Q3 is equal to 79 plus 0.25, and the answer is 79. For the IQR for customer retention rates is IQR equal to Q3 minus Q1 equal to 79.5 minus 68.5, and the answer is 11.0. Next, to check for the outlier, we will calculate the lower limits. So the lower limit is Q1 minus 1.5 times IQR, and the answer is 52.0. For the upper limit is Q3 plus 1.5 times IQR, the answer is 96.0. All observed values are between 60 and 88, so there are no outliers. Outlier exists outside this range, which is 52 and 96. Now let's compare.
My name is Nurshahrin binti Mamuki, Nometric BB23110407. I will present part 4, measure of dispersion.
First, the range. The range tells us the difference between the highest and the lowest value. The formula for range is maximum value minus minimum value. For customer satisfaction, the highest score is 93% and the lowest is 70%. So the range is 23. For customer retention rate, the highest is 88% and the lowest is 60%, which give a range of 28. This means the gap between the highest and the lowest retention rate is larger, showing less consistency among businesses. Secondly, mean absolute deviation, MAD. So the MAD show the average difference between each value and the mean using absolute value. So the formula for MAD is total each value minus sample mean divided number of data point. So there is the table for MAD, and the MAD for customer satisfaction score is 4.88, and for customer retention rate is 5.74. This tells us that the customer satisfaction score are more stable, while customer retention rate vary more from the business to business. Next is variance and standard deviation. So for variance, tell us how much the value differ from the average using square difference. So the formula for variance is total each value minus mean square divided number of data point minus 1. So the variance for satisfaction is 35.98, and for the customer retention rate, it is 49.17. So this means that the retention rate vary more from the mean compared to the customer satisfaction score. And for the standard deviation, it is the square root of variance. It is tells us on average and how far each value is for the mean. So the formula for standard deviation is square root of variance. So the standard deviation for customer satisfaction score is 6.00, and for the customer retention rate, it is 7.01. And this show that the customer retention rate are less consistent than the customer satisfaction score. Next, coefficient of variance, CV. Which is compare the standard deviation to the mean and make it easier to compare two different data sets. So the formula for sample CV is standard deviation divided mean times 100%. So the mean for satisfaction is 84.23. So the sample CV for the customer satisfaction score is 7.12%, and the mean for retention, the customer retention rate is 74.07, and the sample CV for the customer retention rate is 9.46%. So this means that even after adjusting the average, the customer retention rate is still more inconsistent than the customer satisfaction score. So with all five methods, the which is average, variance, standard deviation, coefficient of variance, and mean absolute deviation, show that the customer retention rate have a more variance and less consistent than the customer satisfaction score.
Hello, my name is Rabiatul Adawiyah, and I will be presenting part 5 of this analysis, which focus on calculating and interpreting the measure of association between the two key metrics, customer satisfaction score and customer retention rate. This table shows the step-by-step calculation. First, we calculate the mean for each variable. The average customer satisfaction score is 84.23%, and the average retention score is 74.07%. Next, we calculate the difference between each company's score and the mean for both xi and yi. Then we multiply those differences to get the values of xi minus x bar times yi minus y bar. Finally, we sum up all of those values. From our calculation, the total of all the multiplied values is 1154.65. Since we have 30 data points, we divide that by 29. This gives us a covariance value of 39.82. Positive value means that when customer satisfaction increases, customer retention also tends to increase. Why do we divide by n minus 1? We divide by n minus 1 because this is a sample, not the entire population. Using n minus 1 helps correct any bias and give a more accurate estimate. This adjustment is known as Bessel's correction. Next, we calculate the Pearson correlation coefficient, which shows how strong the relationship is and in what direction. The formula is correlation equal the covariance divided by the standard deviation of x multiplied by the standard deviation of y. In our data, the covariance is 39.8 to the standard deviation of x is 7.12. The standard deviation of y is 9.47. So the correlation equals 39.82 divided by 7.12 times 9.47. This gives a final correlation value of 0.59. Interpretation correlation of 0.59 shows a moderate positive relationship between satisfaction and retention. This means that when customers are more satisfied, they are more likely to stay loyal to the company. However, since the value is not close to 1, it also means there may be other factors that affect retention. So, in conclusion, customer satisfaction has a positive impact on customer retention, so companies should focus on improving customer satisfaction to help retain loyal customers. That is all for my presentation on part 5. Thank you.